Why wealthy Americans are buying second passports. The USA is perhaps the most powerful country in the world. The country has always been in demand for citizenship applications. People from all over the world have wanted to come to this country to live the American dream. Things have been drastically changing, however, as the wealthiest of American citizens are getting a backup plan out of this country. The land of the free is taking their freedom one step ahead. The uber-rich Americans are contemplating buying second passports as a plan B for the security of their families. The US passport is ranked the most powerful in the world by the immigration investment consultancy from Global Citizen Solutions at the end of 2021. However, in a 2022 ranking released by Henley & Partners, the American passport tied for 6th place based on its ability to grant holders visa-free access to 186 countries. In the earlier years, US citizens didn't think about buying these golden passports. It was mainly countries with few travel freedoms that opted for a second passport, like China or Nigeria. But the scenario has changed vastly. The people in the citizenship and residency consultancy industry are getting inquiries majorly from citizens of this country. According to reports, Patty Bluer, a director at Henley & Partners, compared the American surge in second passports to a dam burst. "We haven't seen the likes of this before. The dam actually burst, and we didn't even realize it at the end of last year, and it's just continued getting stronger." Investment migration firms report that many of America's wealthiest citizens, like US billionaires, celebrities, and tech entrepreneurs, feel the need to create a plan B for themselves and their families as far as living in the US is concerned. Why are Americans opting for a second passport? Dominic Volek, group head of private clients at Henley & Partners, talked about the reasons leading to the surge of investor citizenship.
So we see clients coming to us and actually doing multiple programs with us. They're looking to get citizenship in the Caribbean alongside potentially citizenship in Europe. And with that, also looking at potentially getting permanent residence down in Australia or New Zealand or some type of residence visa in Thailand. Singapore, of course, is a very popular jurisdiction.
He also revealed that it was during the Trump administration that the spike in applications began. It further saw a rise during the pandemic and its lockdowns. The American passport had been in decline even before the pandemic, but has slid even further down recently. Many of America's wealthy are opting for a second passport, and they are doing so using means only available to the extremely rich population. The reasons, besides the COVID-19 scenario, include the many unknowns that the country could face associated with the progression of climate change and the political climate in the US. COVID-19. During the very strict lockdowns, there was a point where you could not enter Europe if you only had an American passport. This, according to Volek, made a lot of extremely wealthy individuals realize that they were maybe more fragile than they thought. What happened could very easily happen again, and they would want to be better equipped when the time comes. The reality of COVID-19 hit everybody hard. This mismanagement of the pandemic in the USA, the travel restrictions, the risk of mobility, expensive healthcare, and the standstill of the economy were factors that especially shook the uber-rich. The American passport was a pass to traveling without a visa in nearly 200 countries, but the COVID restrictions found the USA barred from traveling to most of Europe, Asia, and even in Canada. The pandemic may have looked like a temporary crisis for average people, but the uber-rich saw it as a crack in their financial security. That's why this second passport is kind of like an investment for a potentially secure future. Climate change. Climate change and its impact can be felt all over the world, and the American citizens want to secure their escape in case it impacts the USA first. Higher temperatures, melting ice caps, shorter winters, disruption in the seasons, we're all feeling it. As climate change progresses, there is no saying which place will be affected first. Having a second passport will enable citizens to move to the other country that they have chosen without any hassle. There will also be greater mobility while traveling to other countries without a visa if need be. Political conflict. The political conflict in the USA that started majorly during Trump's administration is also a reason for Americans feeling unsafe in their country. The political landscape of the USA has become very chaotic in recent years. An opinion poll showed that just 40% of US voters have faith in President Joe Biden's handling of economic affairs, the lowest number a president has received since George W. Bush in 2008. With inflation rates having doubled in just 1 year, the public is not very trusting when it comes to Biden and other Democratic leaders. The rate of hate crimes and civil wars has also increased. The political division only seems to be escalating. Expenses. America is crazy expensive, and the high cost of living is not worth a lifestyle that it can afford. There are a lot of places in the world that let Americans live a rewarding lifestyle that they could never afford in the USA. Healthcare is better and cheaper, taxes are lower, and the standard of living is much better at the cost in other countries. Status symbol. Believe it or not, one of the major reasons for getting a second passport is that it is a status symbol. For individuals with a very high net worth across the world, a second passport is a prestige symbol as it gives you a lot more freedom and opens many more doors. With greater mobility and opportunities for international business ventures, a second passport has become an asset for the wealthy. When we're looking at the future, we are looking at a lot of unknowns. None of us are ready for it, but the wealthiest people have the means to have another plan in place should the need arise to save themselves for any reason. How do you get a second passport? Usually, an individual can get a second passport by residing in a country long enough to be able to apply for citizenship through naturalization. More than 60 nations allow legal residents the right to apply for citizenship after meeting certain criteria. This is the most common way, but of course, it takes quite a long time. There is another way, but it is something opted for only by the extremely wealthy. Some countries allow non-residents to purchase citizenship directly. They usually offer this citizenship and passport to people who invest in the economy of that country in some way. This is known as the Citizenship by Investment Program. CIP. Around 15 countries across Europe and the Caribbean offer CIP, or Citizenship by Investment Programs, famously known as Golden Passports or Golden Visas. Through these programs, the ultra-rich foreigners can buy a citizenship or residency permit of a country for themselves and their families by investing a certain sum of money in the infrastructure of the country. The minimum amount for investment currently ranges from $100,000 to $9.5 million, depending on the country. These programs are seen as insurance policies. People want a safer place to move to should something become wrong in their own country, like a climate catastrophe or another pandemic. Real estate investment. Real estate investment projects involve investing in commercial or residential property in the country of your choice. You can invest in either total ownership of a property, shared ownership in a prominent development, or a lease for a specific duration, depending on the requirements. Shared ownership is a major investment that would mean being a passive investor without managing any part of the project. Any real estate investment option will require the initially invested amounts to be maintained for a minimum period, which ranges from 3 to 5 years. After that, you can sell your share at the current market value. Business enterprise. This option of investment is for entrepreneurs and business owners who want to expand their businesses. Securing second citizenship will help you to easily trade within particular economic and geographical areas. This option requires investors to create new investment opportunities or take forward existing ones. Some categories allow joint applications for investors who want to share the ownership of a business. Government bonds. Purchasing government bonds is also a way to acquire permanent residency or citizenship in a country. This is a good choice if you don't want to risk any capital or don't want to personally be involved in any business enterprise. The country's government guarantees the bonds and will return your full investment without accruing interest. The minimum holding period is usually 5 years. If you want to finance the investment instead of returning your initial deposit, it is used to finance the initial loan and cover the other financial charges. Some countries offer you citizenship quicker if you buy an additional bond value. Donations. This type of investment requires the investor to donate a sizable amount to an approved fund or charity in a particular country. The donation depends on the number of applicants. It provides all the citizenship benefits while being a philanthropic act towards your new country's development. How do these countries benefit from this? It is not just the investors that benefit by applying for citizenship by investment. The countries also have much to gain. As more and more people apply for a second passport, these countries attract foreign direct investment. The countries can then invest these funds in their projects, such as real estate development, business development, and job creation. The CBI programs also attract talent and skills that are useful for boosting the economy. Countries want investors with clean criminal records who contribute to the economy to become citizens. Which countries offer CIPs? Many good options provide an easy process for investors to get a second passport along with their families. Some countries offer Commonwealth passports, while some offer EU passports. Some of the countries which offer citizenship by investment programs are St. Kitts, Nevis, Dominica, Grenada, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Lucia, Montenegro, and Vanuatu. Montenegro is the cheapest citizenship program in Europe, which costs roughly about $532,000. Getting a second passport naturally will take about 5 years in Portugal and Uruguay. Argentina and Peru take about 2 years. Benefits of dual citizenship. There are a lot of reasons why one would invest in a second citizenship. The most common reasons to get a second passport are to increase stability and security, as a future investment for themselves and their family, easier worldwide mobility, high standards of living, education and healthcare, and overall, a better life. Let's talk about each of these in more detail. Stability and security. Many billionaires and entrepreneurs consider the option of getting a second passport because of all the benefits it provides. Dual citizenship grants security and safety on many levels. If you have a business, you can tap into international markets easily. International business growth and expansion become much easier when you have 2 passports. A second passport also guarantees personal security, a low crime rate, and economic and political stability. Future investment. As the world constantly changes around us, acquiring a second passport is not a bad idea. Think of it as an investment for the future. The citizenship you choose is for life. Your spouse and children can be included. Often, you wouldn't need to give up your present nationality, so you get the best of both worlds as you enjoy the benefits of a legal second passport. Freedom of mobility. A second passport offers visa-free access to many countries around the world, which makes travel a lot easier for you and your family, be it for business or for leisure. The passport of St. Kitts and Nevis gives you access to over 130 countries without a visa, while Malta offers its citizens by investment visa-free entry to more than 160 countries. The second passport saves you time, money, and stress. The entire hassle of going abroad is eliminated if you have dual citizenship. A second passport makes you a citizen of the world. Quality of life. All the countries that offer citizenship by investment programs are well known for the quality of life they provide. High living standards, good quality of education, and healthcare benefits are some very attractive perks of these countries. Tax optimization. Dual citizenship has some advantages for tax management purposes as well. Some countries only tax the income earned from that country. They do not have inheritance, gifts, capital gains, or wealth taxes. In countries like Antigua and Barbuda, the citizens are not taxed on their personal income. Investing in second citizenship provides tax benefits to wealthy businessmen and billionaires who seek efficient ways to manage their wealth effectively. Education. Education is always an important factor to think about if you plan on being a global citizen. Your education will be the foundation of your success. When you invest in a second passport, it opens up new avenues and grants you access to some of the best schools in the world, for you as well as for your children. Dual citizenship will also qualify your kids for domestic tuition fees rather than international fees. Business. A second passport is appealing to investors and businessmen for business reasons. CIPs open up a lot of new business opportunities to the applicants. They can do business in their own country, their host country, and international business also becomes more feasible as travel becomes easier with a second passport. There are many benefits to getting a second passport. A new, better lifestyle, lower cost of living, a different cultural experience, less stress, and a happier life. How many Americans are opting for a second passport? It is concerning that America, the most powerful country with the highest demand for citizenship, futuristic developments, and attractions for immigrants to settle here, is seeing its citizens lose faith in it. Americans are fleeing, or at least trying to secure a plan B for themselves in case things go wrong there. In recent years, there has been a more than 300% spike in Americans opting for a second passport to travel to other countries, with most of them preferring Portugal. According to Reyes Jaffrey, CEO of citizenship and residency consultancy Dason Advisors, the past 3 years have seen more inquiries about second citizenships from high-net-worth Americans than the preceding 20 years combined. These individuals are usually people who earn their money through tech, real estate, or cryptocurrency. These individuals are also worth more than $50 million. These people are worried about the future of American society. Portugal is the next California. At this moment, Portugal is the country most in demand among American investors. This is because of Portugal's extremely appealing 5-year residence permit, which allows visa-free travel to 26 countries in the European Union. The golden visa of Portugal may only be a dream for commoners, though. That's because the visa requires a minimum investment of over $200,000, and you also need an average stay of 7 days a year in the country. When the permit expires, residents can apply for full-time citizenship, which can take an additional 3 years to process. Portugal has been described as the next California, as a lot of talent and wealth is going there. Americans in general are becoming largely disappointed with what's happening in the US. The American dream has stopped looking so dreamy. The reality is way too different. The opportunities that once enticed people to the country are just not available anymore. This is why the ultra-rich Americans want to plant roots somewhere else, preferably in Europe, as a legacy plan for their family. However, most Golden Passport residents do not end up moving at all, opting instead for visiting the country from time to time. Some rarely even visit. Most Dual Passport citizens don't want to move, they just want the option available. There are a lot of things to consider before you think of a second passport. Some countries don't allow dual citizenship, so if you're considering getting a second passport, make sure that your original country and the new country both allow it. Many countries have a minimum number of days that you need to reside in the country as immigration requirements, so think about whether you're getting a passport to move or just as a backup plan. What about the tax system in the country? One of the main reasons why people seek a second passport is tax benefits. How does the tax system in the country benefit you? Is the country safe? What is the education and healthcare system of the country? And how powerful is your passport? If you are spending money on a second passport, you need to make sure that it's worth your bucks. Do your research carefully and make informed decisions. Countries do their background checks and due diligence very, very carefully. It takes several months to obtain citizenship. The European CIPs have gained considerable popularity, and a lot of Americans are flocking to get European passports. So the European CIPs have higher barriers to entry, and their process takes even longer to finish. There will without a doubt be a lot more citizenship by investment programs coming soon. Many countries have started to think about these programs, and it won't be long before they are implemented in many more countries. So, what do you think of the future of America and the development of golden visas? Let us know your opinions in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next one.